We'll call the Johnson County Board of Education's regular meeting of December 19, 2016 to order. Prior to calling to order, we're going to amend the agenda. Do I have a motion to do so?
I'll make a motion.
To
I make a motion to add to the agenda to approve the recess and executive session pursuant to KRS 61.810G.
Thank you. Motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion? There be no discussion. We'll call for vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. District recognitions.
Well, the only thing I would like to do is recognize our Johnson County Board of Education members here tonight. Friday, a week ago, they were awarded the Peace Award from the School Board Association. Back in, I think, 2001, also they won the Peace Award, and I've got both of these lined up on the shelves behind me, and I just think I'd like to recognize our board for the things they do for academics here in Johnson County schools here tonight.
Thank you. Next, we'll approve the minutes from November 21st, 2016, and regular meeting and bills and payroll through December 15th, 2016. Is there a motion to do so?
So made.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? If there be none, we'll call for a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next, we'll go to the renovation report.
Really no change. We're still holding a couple $1,000s on our contractor, and we're basically waiting on the architect and engineer to approve the paperwork for it. So
And receive the rest of the manuals.
the manuals, closeout documents, and then they will submit us with the BG4s and closeout documents that you'll have to approve hopefully by the next time.
Very good. So no action for tonight?
No.
Appreciate it. Good job, Mr. Rowland. Item 5, new business. Ms. Patton.
Yes, as you recall, in a prior meeting, we went over our district accountability results for the 15-16 school year. Since then, all of our principals and the faculty for each school, they've been analyzing test scores, looking at different strategies that they want to implement this school year and that they have been implementing this school year. So tonight, we're going to hear from Sean Hall from the middle school, Brenton Dials from Highland Elementary, and Sandy Music from Porter Elementary. We'll start with Sean.
Okay, for the middle school, our overall index was 62.3. Of course, it's not where we want to be, but we have some strategies hopefully in place that will help us get to where we do want to be. Some highlights from the accountability last year: we did improve achievement in reading. We increased in student growth, and our achievement scores were above state average in all 4 content areas. So we thought those were great things. And we're excited about our 8th graders this year. The 7th grade we thought performed really well, and the overall scores were pretty good. So we expect them to do well this year as well. Our strategies to do better to hopefully get things back in the right track. We did change the schedule a little bit last year, and we went back to a daily team planning, and we think that makes it easier for teachers to identify needs for students. We do, also in the schedule, we do have a time for daily interventions for every student, and of course that's a flexible time that we can rotate around and do different things, pull students and identify needs once again. We also have a reading interventionist for the third 9 weeks coming up, and there'll be small groups type setting where they can pull kids that we've identified that need a little extra help. We always, these are things that we've done before, but they are successes that we've seen. We've purchased IXL supplemental resources. IXL for math and language arts seem to be very helpful. Teachers love that resource, and we continue to use it. With the one-to-one initiative, we, of course, most teachers use Google Classroom, which that allows if students miss, they don't have to really get behind with their work. They can keep up. Teachers can post assignments, notes, things that they would have gotten if they'd been in class that day. So that the one-to-one initiative has been a great thing, and we appreciate that. I don't know if I've gotten a chance to speak to you guys about that, but that's been a great thing. We really do enjoy that. We have created a novice reduction team, and we have, and once that get their plan in place, they will have individual student conferences to see where they're at, what they need to be doing. We do have scheduled department PLC opportunities, and we do this on early release days. We don't have it in the schedule, and we realize there is a need for PLC meetings with the content. But on every early release day, we do require that they meet with the PLCs. Now, teachers do this outside of that schedule as well. They do it after school. Some meet before school, and some do it during their common planning. They find their content team members, and they're still meeting. We go through data analysis with Ms. Patton. Our teachers have went through that, making data walls, 30, 60, 90 plans, which help, once again, identify students and get us a little bit more focused on strategies that we should be doing. And we also are part of the PEDAL program, which is where other districts outside of our own come in and observe us. It's a really positive thing. They come in and they give us just nothing but positive feedback, and they identify teacher talents. And this is the second or third year that I think we've done it, and it's really been great. Once again, they come in our building. They love coming to our building. They always compliment us on our culture, and our kids are also well behaved, unlike other schools that they visited. So we get a lot of positive feedback from those folks. And so those are some of the things that we're doing right now to try to improve.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Brandon.
The past year, Howland Elementary was a distinguished school, school of distinction, high progressive school. Some of the things that we've built on from last year to try to maintain and improve upon that. Last year we had a novice reduction teacher leader. We've kind of taken her and now, in addition to the novice reduction on that particular PLC day, she's also serving as an instructional leader for the teachers as well. So we've kind of given her an opportunity to help bring more strategy in and that sort of thing. We have common plannings among our grade levels. PLC is scheduled every Wednesday. It's a weekly thing. Within those PLCs, we're doing two types of walls now. We're doing a school-wide data wall where we're looking at the grade overall. You know, this percent of third grade students are here, this percent of fourth grade is there for every level. But in addition to that, we've developed a student data wall, which we've modeled it after what turnaround schools across the state are doing. So in addition to knowing what we're doing in every grade level, now we can also tell you where every individual child we have is at. We think that's going to be something that's going to really allow us to continue to move forward. We're very intentional now with the instruction through RTI and in our enrichment program. Now that we've got the student data and we know where every child's at, we've been able to really focus on what that individual child needs. So we're hoping we're going to see the fruits of labor with that this following year. And we've attended additional PD trainings where we focused on, you know, those key work processes that are instrumental for positive and quality instruction in the classroom.
Thank you.
Porter last year was School of Distinction and Distinguished School, High Progress School, and Kentucky Progressive School. So we had all of the, I guess, the top labels that you can get. We were the 44th highest Kentucky elementary school out of 709. Our overall accountability score was 84.3, and the year before it was 67.6, so a really good growth there. We met our novice reduction goal. You have to reduce your novice by 50% in 5 years, and we met that goal. Our actual overall novice is under 13% for third through sixth grade at Porter. Just some highlights, 80% of our students read at a proficient or distinguished level at Porter. 72% of fourth grade read at proficient or distinguished levels. 70% of our fifth grade students and 84% of our sixth grade students write at a proficient or distinguished level. So those are just some really good highlights. Some of the same things that they mentioned, we have common planning time that our teachers use for professional learning communities. They use that time to do a lot of data analysis. decide on strategies and activities that they need for the students. We also have a novice reduction data wall that we keep, and the teachers monitor where those students are throughout the year, their regular classroom curriculum too. We're a model site of exemplary practices from KDE, so we use, a protocol that we use for our response to intervention students, make sure that we're getting the students who are not achieving the targets, and then also trying to focus more on enrichment this year too, not leaving our gifted students out. We implemented a STEM lab several years ago, and we feel like that it was a positive, good thing, and we're continuing that. And probably this year, one of the biggest things is our Leader in Me and aligning academics. We're in year 2, and year 2 is all about aligning academics. So it's setting school-wide goals, class goals, and then students setting their own goal. And so they'll have, they're keeping data leadership notebooks, and they track their own learning in those notebooks. And then they have a student-led conference with their parents to go over those goals, just to, just share that they're meeting the goals. And that helps put the learning in their hands a little bit more too. So we're excited about that. And just add to the Leader in Me, aligning academics. One of the things I think that's going to really help too is we have action teams, and those action teams are formed by teachers. They form their own action teams based on the needs that they see that the school needs. And for example, one of the action teams is a professional book club. And so they decide professional books that they want to read to enhance, what they're doing in the classroom. And then some of those teachers share that learning and professional learning community. So, not only impact the people who are on the club or in the club, but then it also reaches all the other teachers in the building too. And we feel like that's going to be a really great strategy. And so that's pretty much it.
Thank you. Good report by all three of you. Appreciate it very much. Item 5B, we're going to not go over until we come out of executive session. We'll go on to 5C. Approve the 2017 board meeting schedule. Mr. Sager.
We ask you to approve it as presented to you all. Again, it comes back to basketball now this year, third week of December and November and things, just to kind of meet the needs of what's going on here in the district.
Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 5D, Mr. Sager.
Again, we ask you to approve your board member travel to KSBA, KDE, and all the sponsored PD activities, things you need to do as board members to keep up your errors and things along those lines.
Thank you. Motion to approve. Second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. 5E, Mr. Rowland.
We've got a situation at our high school with our heating system. Basically, we've got a 33-year-old system that was installed in 1983. It's got 3 coal-fired boilers over there. We had, at one point this fall, we had all 3 working. At this time, there's only one of them that is operational. The other 2 are in need of some extensive repairs to bring them up to where they'll work properly. There's several situations here that fall into play there. Number one, though, they're manufactured by a company of Wilbert out of Ohio, Orville, Ohio. They no longer manufacture those. I guess the change of coal to natural gas or to other sources of energy, Wilbert has sold out of the coal-fired manufacturing of those plants. There is a local machine shop up there. If we was to want to buy one today, he would have to take a parts list and make each individual part. We can't actually just call him and say we need a number 250 Wilbert stove. So that's one situation. 2, to get him to manufacture their parts to repair those, we're looking at about $50,000 each to do that. And the majority of that is the parks. We have looked at and explored over the last week or so. We've explored many different options of getting a solution to this problem. And probably the best solution that we can come up with this time would be to spend our money on a new piece of equipment rather than spending a significant amount of dollars there on a 33-year-old piece of equipment. In speaking with our engineering firm here, CMTA, who has been working with us on projects, and our contractor here, CPS out of Lexington, we spoke with the manufacturer of a product called Lock and Bar, which is made in Lebanon, Tennessee, where they actually make the units and repair parts right there on site, which is just outside of Nashville.
Currently what we have in Highland Elementary.
We've got one of those at Highland Elementary, yes. What we need to make it operational is we would expect we would need one new gas-fired stove, and we'll keep the one that is operational, keep the coal-fired as a backup. We spoke with the city of Paintsville, the utilities. We met with their engineer, and they will supply us the gas and a meter over there. We'll take care of, he would get hooked up on it once it gets inside the building, and they will run it over to our building. They assure us that they will have enough gas there to take care of it. In planning for any future projects, we've asked them to size a meter and gas line accordingly. If we ever desire to change the other coal-fired to gas, we want to be ready for it. We don't want to just be wasting money right now and put in a small meter when we could be putting in the right size and spend a little more money and save it down the road. But we also ask our engineer to look at our savings on it. And if we convert to we've asked for 2 different models of gas-fired boilers. A less efficient one, a 20-year savings on that versus coal is about $30,000 savings. If we go to the most efficient one, which their brand, Lock and Bar, is called a Crest model, looks like a savings of about $192,908. In my mind, personally, I would recommend to this board that we would spend the money in the amount of about $96,000 to replace that with a gas-fired boiler with the Lock and Bar Crest, and save that money and get us back on track. We've got our people here. We've made arrangements that we can have this boiler shipped basically in the morning or tonight, and have it here in 2 to 3 days out of Lebanon, Tennessee. They've made some arrangements to get that done, and we've talked with the contractor, and barring any problems, I'd say within 2 weeks we should be up and operational. So hopefully over this break here we can get that done.
And again, the whole process is we immediately contacted KDE down there this morning, and that morning, I think last Tuesday morning, went to Scott.
We have talked to them, yes.
Marcus Highland, you should have a document in there that talks about that. And again, his advice was to go ahead and do this. Also, it was an emergency that needed to be done for the whole building, for saving the whole building's purpose here, so to speak. We talked about using CMTA. We also talked about using CPS back there. I guess that was one of their preferred contractors, KDE. Again, we already have them in our bid process with KDC. It's one of our providers here also. So that's the reason they were chosen to do this process.
Basically what KDE will allow, and you got there, explain it more, but we're doing just like a regular renovation project, but because it is an emergency, they'll allow us to go ahead and do the work. He can start work tonight, and then we'll do the paperwork with Clay and get his people to do the paperwork over the next, it may take a month or 2 to get the paperwork done. But KDE will allow you in situations such as this to handle it as an emergency. So, and we did, the first thing is to contact them, and they've outlined it there. The board will need to declare an emergency. You will need to approve a BG1, It's pretty open, and then leave it up to Clay to work with myself and the superintendent to get the dollar figures, and how they're gonna come out of it with Ms. Goebel there, with which fund and all those things. We'll do that next week sometime. It's no emergency on that, but it is emergency to get this unit fixed. And we'll also, I guess, I don't know how official, Jonathan may have to answer this, how we need to hire Clay here on an hourly basis or a project basis just to get this done. But that KDE wants a design professional on board.
And the unit you're suggesting is the most efficient one?
It's the most efficient one we can find now, yes.
Okay, and it costs a little bit more upfront, but savings over the long haul.
20 years, yes. A great investment.
Well, there should be a document in there that illustrates that too, as well as Terry Sayer, where Terry is. Terry's done some figure based on what's happened at Highlands and things, the cost. Terry, you're welcome to speak about that also if you like.
Well, it's really no brainer. It's like Mr. Rowland said, the more efficiency there is, I feel, the way to go too, because your return on the chart that I put together there, I went back 7 years on our school board application for energy usage and things, and found out that through that 7-year period, you're looking at around 71,000 in comparables, and also gave you a square footage figure there too that you can compare by building to building of where Highlands, which has a similar unit in there versus the coal-fired ones there. And it's the difference in daylight and dark. I think it was just the efficiency part of it, you know, they were saying about $190,000. I mean, it's well worth it. Not only is that gonna give us less than probably a 10-year payback, but you're looking at savings for, I mean, we had 33 years on this one. So the great thing about that, on that report, there was also other things to take consideration, is parts and maintenance, and the coal-fired boiler system that we have right now. There's a tremendous amount of man-hours that have to go in to be able to keep those, you know, going and compatible and all that kind of deal, which is not even factored in what we have, which could be thousands of dollars. And then also just the purification, I guess you could say, of the boiler area. You can go to one of our schools and see the coal fire situation that they have to deal with every day, whereas up at Highlands, you can almost, it's like a hospital room in there. So it's just a much better system, much cleaner system, and that also has an ability to be able to get in within our schools. You know, in our atmosphere of the schools, you know, the soot and things that we have to do every day. It's a factor where it will be a much cleaner environment, which will help the students to have a better atmosphere to be able to learn it.
And if we put that much money into an old furnace out there, so to speak, that's just replacing about half of it. It's still not replacing any of the sections or anything that goes with it. But we can now, 2 years from now, we could have a section or two.
That's just the coal, yes.
So it's not pouring money down the drain, I think. And you're talking about a 10-year warranty with a gas furnace and things, so we've got some security and things going along with that. But we have none, even though we replace the parts and do it in-house with our guys, it's still gonna be a significant amount of money to us.
Very good. Then, since it's a declared emergency, I'd like to get a motion to replace the JCHS coal-fired boilers with natural gas-fired boilers with the assistance of CMTA and approve the BG1.
So made. Second.
Motion's made and seconded. Any further discussion? If there be none, we'll call for a vote. All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Scott.
Thank you, sir.
Next, 5F, student trips.
You've got boys basketball in West Virginia, Lexington, KBA is here on
2
that.
weekends, there's one there, one weekend in January, one weekend in February.
And there's a cheerleading thing on in the high school here. Is Christy here? Christy, you want to say something about that?
The week of February, the 10th through the 14th, our girls have went to Lexington at a bluegrass competition and got a bid for nationals, which is at Disney. So they have the ability to go there and to compete in a 2-day competition that actually has 3 rounds.
Thank you.
And you would be supplying all the funds? to do
Yes,
that through your
yeah, we've,
resources? Okay.
yeah, the boosters have raised the
No
money.
cost more. That's what you want to hear, wasn't it?
With that, all this represent, is there a motion to approve student trips?
I'll make a motion.
Second?
Second.
Motion's made and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. 5G, Mr. Sayer.
Again, Johnson County Buddy Basketball is asking to use our gymnasiums once again. We've done that for a number of years. That's all our kids involved, so we encourage you to do that. And also, and Noel, I think's done this in the past, Kentucky Youth Soccer Associations use our fields and things to practice. Again, that's helping our district kids. And soccer, so we do have two very successful soccer teams in high school this year. It's because of that continuity we have in our programs here in the district. Our kids are more successful as they get to the high school level, so I would move that you approve both of those.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve?
So made.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Also in your packet, you've got the superintendent's personnel report. And at this point in time, get approval to go into executive session pursuant to KRS 61.810 C and G to discuss proposed litigation and architects. Second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Motion carries. So we'll go into executive session. And those of you that are leaving, thanks a lot for coming out tonight. And we have action.
After coming out second session, discussion with our litigation, and also discussion, we have no announcements on litigation. We have a motion coming out of that to hire an architect, Mr. Van Hoos, seconded by Mr. Fraley, I believe, is that right? To hire Carter, Sherman, Barnhart as architects for the district. Gentlemen, we appreciate you.
Oh, thank you.
You did a great job. It's been a long discussion here, I can tell you.
Thank you all very much. Appreciate it.
Dan, I appreciate everything, sir.
Good luck tomorrow.
Best of luck.